Welcome to MIGFX tutorial series. In this tutorial, you will learn how to create and use value sets, our fundamental component in Studio. A value set consists of columns and rows, similar to a table or a spreadsheet. A container with data you can use in validation to check if the value exists, and in translations where you, with a key, get a value return. There are three different types of value sets: static, dynamic, and translate, all with the same basic functionality. Before we look into the three different types, their characteristics, and how to fill in data, let us start with the basics. To create a new value set, right-click on Folder Value Set, then New. Type name and description. Click Definition tab to be able to define value set type and columns in your new value set. You can add new columns by filling out a new row with name, format, length, scale, if format is numeric, nulls if allowed, and if you like, a description of your new column. Move columns up and down using the move up and down icons. And to delete a row, select the row, then click Delete. The content of the Data tab depends on the type of value set. Let us start with the value set type static. A static value set is characterized by the fact that content is static and can be changed in Studio only. For instance, the existing value set account types. In Definitions tab we can see it has 3 columns, and in the Data tab, that there are 3 rows of data. First, we will try to add more rows, and then add an extra column. Check out account types to start working. This opens a new empty data row, ready to type in new data. Modify existing rows directly, and delete a row by selecting it, then click Delete. Change column definitions is a little complicated if there is data typed into the value set. Problem is that existing data will be corrupted by adding or deleting columns, or by changing existing columns' definitions. To avoid this, we must clear the data first. Back to the Data tab. Click Clear. Then the dialog asks if we would like to export the data to Excel before it is being cleared. Yes, we want to export data. Specify path and name, then save. And the data is exported and cleared from the value set. Back on the Definition tab. The dialog is open to modify column definitions. We add a new column. But now the exported data does not match the new column definitions, as we have added a column. Therefore, we need to modify the data before importing it again. This we can do directly in the spreadsheet. After data is modified to meet the new column definition, click Import. And data is back in the value set. The export and import dialog can also be used if you prefer to type data into a spreadsheet and not directly in Studio, or if data is delivered from elsewhere. The data typed into a static value set is part of the generated engine and visible in the director. A dynamic value set is different. You must define columns, same way as in a static value set. But data must be loaded at runtime in the director. In Studio, you can load data as a test only. Let us change our static value set account types to a dynamic. Because dynamic value sets cannot contain data in Studio, we choose to save the data before they are removed. Column definitions remains unchanged. But the Data tab is now different. Data has disappeared and replaced by a dialog, where you have to specify a provider and some fields. A provider describes how data is to be loaded into the value set at runtime in the director, and as a test in Studio. There is only one provider available, called from file, but you can create as many as you like. Looking inside the provider we can see that it is based on the default migration extension, delivered with MIGFX. You can implement your own extensions. This extension offers only one type of provider, that loads data from a spreadsheet. With a parameter, where you specify a default folder from where you, in Studio, can load files to test. Back to our value set. Select from File Provider from drop-down, opens 3 parameter values possible to specify. They are defined by the extension. In Folder Override you can specify another folder than default. Type file name in File. And if there are more tabs in the spreadsheet, you can specify tab number in Worksheet Index. Now we are ready to test our dynamic value set. Click on Test, and a test dialog opens. You can override your default values, if necessary. Which it is not, as we have specified the spreadsheet we used to import when the value set was static. Change max number of rows to be loaded, in case there are many rows in the spreadsheet. Click Get Data, and the 5 rows are loaded correctly. into our dynamic value set, which means that we have tested the definitions and data matches. But as mentioned earlier, if the value set is dynamic, the data must be loaded at runtime in the director. Select one or more value sets. Click Update Selected, and a load job is executed. Click Refresh. Then double-click on value set, and the loaded data is visible.